All right, we're here at ETH Denver. We're talking with Dan from DMAIL Networks. Dan, why don't you give us some background on DMAIL and the product you guys have built?
Yeah, thanks for having me here today. We go back a long way with ICP. We started building on ICP before we went multi-chain. So just after Genesis, really, mid-2021, DMAIL was a project that was already building on ICP. Obviously, the utilization of the reverse gas model has been pivotal to our success. Nobody's really going to want to spend money to send an email, right? Yeah. So the innovation and the expertise of the ICP protocol has been fantastic. So DMAIL is essentially a Web3 communications protocol. We allow the seamless messaging between both Web2 and Web3. So for Web3, essentially, that means sending messages directly to wallets and DIDs. Although we obviously started out on ICP in 2021, we've now gone multi-chain. We now support 20 different chains. Wow. Our growth has been absolutely phenomenal as a result. We have more than 1.5 million monthly active users, 8 million registered users, with over, I think, 5.5 million unique wallet addresses, and more than 250,000 daily active users. So, I think we're actually an excellent showcase product for ICP and for the vision of going multi-chain from originally building on ICP itself.
That's awesome. I got to imagine those metrics have to be some of the top metrics for any app in Web3, right?
Definitely, Kyle. If you go to DApp Radar and you look at the SocialFi section, you can see that we are indeed one of the top projects in SocialFi. We have been consistently within maybe the top 10 of all dApps across all chains.
Okay.
So yeah, we do have that phenomenal user base. And it's not only about the user base, it's whether or not those users are active.
Right.
And we have, I think it's upwards of 140 million message transactions at this stage. So, wow. It's been utilized as well. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. I assume you're competing against, in terms of the DApp Radar rankings, you're probably competing against apps that launched even before 2021, right? So you haven't even had the amount of time as some of these other apps.
Definitely. And I think what's really interesting about the DApp Radar statistics is several of our contracts are actually have not actually been integrated into the DApp Radar platform. So our actual transaction volume and UAWs are much higher.
Wow.
So we're working on that with DApp Radar. And actually Dfinity, I don't think is represented. And a huge part of our transaction volume is obviously on ICP. So
okay.
We're working to get that sorted. And I think once you see that, it will be boosted much higher. So bullish.
That's a common problem I've heard from applications, because ICP is a privacy by default chain. Right. Sometimes it makes it a little harder to get metrics out.
Also non-EVM, so that can be more difficult. Yeah.
In terms of so DMAIL, obviously decentralized mail, I assume is the name.
That's right. Well, I like to think of it as Daniel Mail, but no, it's decentralized mail, right? Yeah.
Did what was it? Friendster? Not Friendster. Was it? What was the one that came between Friendster and Facebook?
Sorry,
the social media network that there was Tom was the CEO and everyone was a friend of Tom. Is DMAIL the same? Everyone's instantly Dan's in their.
We have a lot of friends across, because we're on 20 chains now. We have a lot of friends across these different chains. We have more than 300 partners.
Okay.
And I think what's really important about partnerships is, and I've learned in this industry, a lot of people will reach out and say, let's announce a partnership, and based on what, right?
Yeah.
So I think there has to be tangibles, and I'm the COO at DMAIL. I make sure that any partnerships that we have are rooted in some fundamentals, in something tangible. That could be integrations, it could be utilization of products and services, but there has to be something that we can actually announce. I think it's very important. So, when you think on that basis that we have more than 300 partners across 20 different chains, I think it shows that our BD team has done a phenomenal job. We have something called the Subscription Hub. And since October 25th, when the Subscription Hub launched, we have more than 250 projects onboarded already.
Okay.
So what the Subscription Hub does is it allows the DApp or the L1 Internet Computer is actually on our Subscription Hub. And what Internet Computer can do is, not only is ICP in our subscription hub, in our subscription center. And so the 8 million registered users can access Internet Computer and can subscribe. You already have far more than 100,000 users, subscribers last time I saw.
Okay.
I think it might be closer to 200,000, but I haven't checked for a while.
Okay.
And what that does is it allows Internet Computer then to directly reach out to the person themselves directly via their wallet or their DID, and you can send your newsletters, you can send your, you can send short form content like tweets. In the future, there'll be RSS feeds, so you'll be able to automate those tweets going out if you want to. So, yeah, and also users can receive their messages via Telegram. So there's an auto forward feature, which makes it all the more easier.
So you have almost like that Web 2, Web 3.
Exactly.
Going back.
Synergy, yeah.
Seamlessly,
yeah. Absolutely. And that's exactly what we've wanted to do. We realized, with the push for account abstraction and the focus on the simplification of, Web3 products to perhaps more closely align with the Web 2 UI UX, right? Because there's nothing wrong with that. They've had over a generation to make that as perfect as possible. And I think DMAIL's done a great job of that. We have a very intuitive interface. And if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? So where our value proposition lies is that you have full data autonomy, and we'll have something called mail to earn. And mail to earn is where you can get tokenized rewards for for the time spent on the platform, carrying out different actions. And so that to me is a phenomenal value proposition. Not only do you have full data sovereignty, you have privacy and security.
Okay.
But, if we're at 8 million users now, and this value proposition, I think the mail to earn will come in at Q4 of this year, maybe Q1 next year at the latest. And what you're going to see then is the value proposition will be that instead of your data being farmed, on a traditional Web 2 platform against you, and as a result receiving unsolicited adverts and so on and so forth, you won't get any of that. Your data will be fully decentralized. So I think, you're going to see that 8 million user base grow out a massive amount, because who wouldn't want to get paid to be informed and connected?
Right. Is that, so going back to, you're painting a beautiful picture of the future.
Thank you.
Going back in terms of the value proposition of DMAIL compared to maybe a Web 2 equivalent like Gmail or something like that. You mentioned a couple things: privacy, security, data ownership, data. Being able to manage. Are those the value propositions when you guys compete against big tech or something?
Yeah, definitely. So I think up until now. So first and foremost, we're not really competing with Gmail. We're a Web 3 product, and actually we have Web 2 login. We realize that the vast influx of users will come from Web 2.
Okay, yeah.
And so we don't really see ourselves as competitors to Gmail, and we also think that I also use Gmail now. Until at least we've built out the full Web 2 product suite. The calendar, the decentralized drive, and so on and so forth. It makes sense for me to continue using both.
Okay. Yep.
But I think once we have the full functionality of the Web 2 product suite, the decentralized drive, the calendar, and everything else that you would have with your general Gmail services, for example. The value proposition, of course, is that your data is not being farmed.
Okay.
It's not in a centralized server, so there's huge advantages to that, and also, like I say. With Gmail, you are the product.
Right.
But with DMAIL, there's a distributed economy that only Web3 can provide through tokenization.
Okay.
And so, in the future, you'll be able to subscribe on a marketing hub to a project like ICP. And if ICP wants to, then they can distribute token rewards for maybe clicks, maybe a very low reward for clicks. But it could be within the message there could be a kind of quest embedded, and then maybe the rewards could be higher. But this is down to the project and what they want to achieve.
Okay.
But I think that that's the beauty of it. There's so many possibilities with a tokenized economy, and so
Right.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
In terms of like the users of DMAIL, are these typically like Web3 degens? Are they technologists? Is it companies and enterprises? Like, what is the breakdown of the?
Well, we will have an enterprise mailbox that's coming out in Q3, but
Okay.
I think what we're seeing is just honestly a little bit of everyone. I think obviously the crypto natives are the first to the party, I suppose, but we're going to increasingly see people, and there's going to be a drive from us to simplify the whole process and really like outline our value proposition so that your non-crypto natives are going to be interested in what we're doing. And I think that we're building towards that with the mail to earn.
Okay.
Because like I say, if you can get on the platform and you can earn tokenized rewards for your activity,
Right.
that's going to attract a lot of people.
Right.
So for something as simple as email as well.
Right. Well, I mean, you go from in the Web2 context where the user is the product, right, to something where the user is actually
Empowered.
Incentives to use the product.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's other ways that like a marketer maybe has new ways to market and like you said with quests and like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I think that's what it's all about. It's I was looking at it the other day and I thought, Gmail has more than 3 billion users, right?
That many.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I'm terrible at math, but I think that if we got 1% of the market, it would be 30 million.
Okay. Yep.
Right. So
Checks out.
I think that we can do that without any problem.
We're already
8 million.
Yeah, 8 million. So you're let's say 25% of the way there or so.
Yeah, right. And I think that and when I say we can do that, I'm thinking on an 18-month timeline.
Okay. Okay.
Because
this isn't even long-term vision. This is like, hey,
18 months is so I think within a year we'll have the mail to earn. Give it another 6 months for that to grow out and for us to market that. And yeah, I think we'll get there.
30 million accounts.
Yeah, so let's come back in a year's time and see where we're at.
Well, is there any concern from the developer team in terms of scalability? Like, will you guys be able to scale to 30 million?
No, I don't think there is. All of our testing has showed so far that we can support millions of users. I think obviously being built on ICP helps with that.
Help scale, yeah.
Yeah. So no issues at all. We haven't experienced any difficulties there.
That's amazing. I love you mentioned about how in 2021 basically you launched with almost account abstraction in mind already, right?
Yeah.
So because you walk around this place and that's the buzzword is account abstraction, and you see all these projects that are saying, hey, in a year from now we're going to have account abstraction, or 6 months from now, and you guys are basically like, yeah, we did that already.
There's a knowledge that if you're going, most of the growth is going to come from Web 2.
Right.
And if you're going to have a burgeoning Web3 email protocol, email is for everyone. And it should be a very simplified project, easy to use. And account abstraction is obviously something that helps with that. So we work with Particle Network for that. They enabled login functionality through Web 2. And I think it's really boosted our numbers.
Awesome.
And it's a great thing to do.
So account abstraction allows you guys, or at least allowed over the last 2 years, to expand like from ICP into additional user communities.
Yeah, it hasn't been 2 years. I think we enabled the account abstraction about 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But we always, as you were right when you said we always had it in mind for sure.
Right,
yeah,
right.
And also we were one of the very first Web3 protocols to work with WorldCoin, and we've enabled World ID, and that's significant because they have a massive uptick in users now. I think like 3-4 million users already. So it's just adding these gateways into DMAIL Network and onboarding the users, and that's really where we found our expansion in users. And I think it's a really good, as I say, example case for projects that want to start out building and utilizing the fantastic architecture of ICP and the benefits that ICP bring to going then multi-chain,
right,
and getting the benefits of being a multi-chain project as well.
Yeah, I think we've always that's always been the vision of the World Computer is, you could build on a platform that gives you optionality. Maybe you want to go towards a specific chain, or as most entrepreneurs or most project teams will want.
Yeah.
They'll want as big of an addressable market, right? So you want to tap in users in this community and that community, and you guys are doing it the exact right way, right? Is like that's your growth strategy.
So I think we can, we are a very successful project that's built on ICP, and I think that we can serve as a showcase example.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to, ICP is we go back a long way. We're great friends with ICP.
Yeah.
And I think that moving into 2024, we're going to be working even closer with ICP, and I'll always be ready to do marketing events with ICP, and got nothing but good things to say about the team and everybody.
What was I don't know if like the tech team kind of walked through about like what was it like going from being ICP to being like multi-chain? Was that like a tough technical challenge, or was it pretty seamless? Or
integration of EVMs is EVM chains is not as challenging as non-EVMs. When we integrate with other chains, we have a lot of chains that are approaching us, on a daily basis, L1s, L2s,
right?
Because they know the transaction volume that we'll bring.
Yeah.
So I suppose we have the luxury of being able to kind of pick and choose at this stage. And we're
That's a pretty good position to be in.
Yeah, and we're prioritizing projects that give support, grant support, marketing support, and so we've identified several chains that have done that in droves for us. Internet Computer is one of those for sure.
Yeah,
probably the foremost chain that has done an enormous amount for us, and we're very gratified for that. But yeah, I think it is nice to be in that position, and we'll continue with that model. I think for us, we have a lot of runway, but I think the grant support is not only a financial motivator, but it's an endorsement, and that's important.
Yeah. Well, you guys are living out the exact vision of the world computer.
Yes.
Where can people go to find more information about DMAIL?
DMAIL.ai is your gateway into DMAIL. And if you're a developer or a project, you can join our subscription hub. And you can find out a lot of information about us at blog.dmail.ai.
Okay, blog.dmail.ai.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure, Kyle. Thanks a lot.
Building.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.